everyone, welcome back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing splendidly. If you are new around here, please drop a like, please subscribe. It does mean absolutely the world to me. These legends below, they went a step further. They became members of the channel. You can do that just below. Link is in description. There is a big join button as well. And also pommysportsalmanac.com.au for all your print needs. The winner this week of the prize, a print of their choice, Wayne Caruthers. So if you want to reach out in my DMs, Pommy and Oz on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, reach out to me and we'll tee you up. And you can get on the website there, pommysportsalmanac.com.au. Check it out and let me know which one you want. And we're going to cover the girls' game today. So the girls come off a 39-point drubbing at the hands of Adelaide Crows. And it was really as easy as you like from Adelaide. They didn't play their best. They were very wasteful in front of goal. They should have really won that in a canter. And not really many positives to speak of. I have seen people talk about effort, and you know me, I'm old school. You get paid. Effort is a non-negotiable. That should come into it just straight off the bat. If we're at a stage of we're praising anyone who collects away for effort, we've got huge issues. You know what I mean? Like, I stopped praising my kids for using the toilet. Do you know what I mean? A long time ago, probably the second time they did it. You know what I mean? It's a non-negotiable, basics. But what worries me, just more in all, is that performance was pretty dire from not a player perspective, from a whole systematic. That is probably, I think there's more tactical nows going on at my kids' Oz kick, to be honest. When you look tactically how out of depth we are now to the rest of the league, it's hard to believe we're a foundation side. And I want to spend my review here more preempting an end of season review. For me, I thought the writing was on the wall when we made finals, and then last year was so poor. We've lost more players since then, and the results have got catastrophically worse. But one thing remains constant, the game plan. And the game plan is the same. So people are saying, why is it not working? Well, one, the personnel's changed, but I'd say the biggest one is the league has moved on. You look at all sports when they're new, particularly a good example for us in the 21st century is female sport, because it has been constantly put behind the 8 ball of the male sports. And then you see once they're given free rein and they get equal footing and people come into the game and they don't see them as women, they see them as sportsmen, you see the levels of improvement very quickly. Like in men's sport when technological advances come in. And for me, it's alarming that we're playing a game style that worked 5 years ago purely because the talent levels weren't there. And Carlton probably had the monopoly being the biggest brand in the competition. So now talent spread a bit more through the other sides. And we're starting to see these game plans adapt. Adelaide, North Melbourne, Fremantle, Brisbane, adapting plans. Richmond adapting a plan. Do you know what I mean? They're starting to really put some impetus in how the modern game is played. Carlton's looks like something straight back out of the 90s. Kick mark. No one plays that way anymore. It's time that we shelved it because it's archaic. We don't play the 4-4-2 anymore in professional soccer. Why? Because it's one-dimensional. It's meant to be the most fluid system, but systems are smarter with the personnel. The modern-day player doesn't suit that. So for me, let's start looking at that first and foremost. We can criticise the coach all the time. I've got no issues saying to sack someone because for me, I think you're a moron if you believe things get better when there's no evidence to suggest it. Well, time doesn't fix anything apart from your heart, but you've still got to do things to fix your heart as well. You can't just sit there in a room and it get better. If you're not proactive, you're inactive. And looking at how the girls play, I see a side that gives 100% by what they're expected to. And my biggest question is, when I look at Half and I look at his resume and I look at the type of person he comes across as, now bearing in mind I don't know him personally, he's probably a stellar guy. I just think that they've gone with the stereotypical type of coach you would pick if you knew nothing about the female sport. If you knew nothing, nice guy. Oh, they don't want to be shouted at. They don't want expectation. Let's just have a big jolly up, you know, a big little dance You know what I mean? A few beers and everything's a bit of a love fest. It's so uninspiring. It's so uninspiring. And I think when you look at the quality of females we have on the park, it's alarming to me. When you've got players like Mimi Hill, top class, top level, comes back after 7-month layoff, kills it. Grace Egan, the girl, Jesus, how does she play? Do you know what I mean? Breaking a rib that early on. Tough to the ball. Maddie Prasparkis, top quality talent. Karen Harrington, top quality talent. There's probably more top quality talent at Carlton than a lot of the lists. And then when it's not focusing, you've got to start looking at different areas. And for me, I just think that the AFLW department, the fact it wasn't included in the review, says to me it is second class. And you get people coming out and saying it's shit, it's boring, I don't want to watch it, oh, it's virtual signalling. I don't blame them for having that opinion, because when the club is presenting a message that it's not on an equal footing, what are people meant to think? People don't look into things big. People want it drip fed to them in bite-sized pieces so it's easier. They don't want to think. We're in a generation now where we're at a crossroads where people just take what they hear at face value. And it's nice to see that alternative methods of media are coming across like this, that give a little bit of a different objective, because I don't care if I hurt anyone's feelings. I couldn't give two cahoots, because at the end of the day, for me, the most priority thing is football. And these girls are here to represent the badge. Now, whatever you want to do with that badge, okay, but you've got to understand that the badge gives credence. This here gives credence. It gives identity, gives a little bit of respect to what people do. You know, like in the UK, you can be part of a chartered group. So you can be a chartered, chippy, you can be a chartered plumber, registered, corgi registered, electrician, gas guys. It gives that, that reassurance that they're legit. That's what that does. That's what that does. It's kind of a validation of who you are. And if that's not respected and treated in a way where I think the girls have got a fabulous opportunity, they hold the torch at Icon Park, which is historically the memory of most Carlton fans, their fathers, their grandfathers. The memories are there. They get to carry that baton, which the men don't. And that is a huge accolade. That is probably one of the most proudest accolades you could give someone representing our football club. And when I look at how it's treated on the field, it's basic stuff. And this was a 101 between good systems and poor systems. A movement ahead of the ball is shocking. Is shocking. And it doesn't matter what type of player you are, that is systematic. The problems today were all things you can fix in training in 3 or 4 sessions. And I think it comes down, for me, if I was analysing this as a developer of people, which is my expertise, I would say that they're undermotivated. They are massively undermotivated. I think they're massively undermotivated. And I think the hyper ball they're in, the ball they're in, is disjointed. It's warped. It's not conducive to maximise these girls' talents. Because I see 21 girls out on the park, 12 of which should have huge higher inputs than what they presented me today. Massively improved inputs than what they showed me today. And there's little things that irk me, that just don't fly with me. And I think they've made a total mistake. And I know what the club are going to do. And it is Australian sport. Let someone see their job out and then fire them. It's mental. It's mental. Like, I can't tell you, if you were coming in next year and you give this guy 4 games, that's 4 games more shit you've got to clear out of someone's system. It's mind-numbing. It's poor, and it is a huge, huge concern that a football club this big, who's ploughed a lot of resources and a lot of statement into their game, that I don't think it's taken seriously off the field, which I think is jeopardising these girls' careers. And it's no surprise to me people have left. It's no surprise. I look at North Melbourne, the pride they show in their system and how it's been built. I look at Adelaide, the pride, the united force they've got. And I look at Carlton and I just don't feel the same. It feels kind of like the people involved in it, it's like some kind of favour to them. And the favour is wearing the badge for our club. Like, you should do that for free. Do you know what I mean? And it's so uninspired when you hear half the talk. And I want to say I don't like bagging people. I couldn't give a shit, really. If you can't do your job, you can't do your job. It's poor. And I question anyone who turns up to work every day knowing that they're doing a bad job and they don't fall on their sword. I do question that psyche in people. I question that because you're not a leader to me. I still think you can be a leader and fail, but you've got to hold your hand up. And that's poor. The team selection every week reeks of desperation. This week, yeah, it paid off. Egan and Hill were good, but couldn't outwit getting them in, could you? You know what I mean? Charlotte Wilson full forward. What was the thinking of that? We're getting bad down back. Getting absolutely mauled down back. I look at the ball movement and the long kick is purely from the patterns off the ball. You look at Adelaide, there's girls running alongside, looking for that inside-out handball. There's girls running forward, running towards the carrier. There's options all the time. When the ball changes hands and the transition begins, there's a movement in the process of we're going to transition this. Carlton, it takes ages. A lot of our transitions come from free kicks or slowing the game down and errors from the opposition. About 5 of our entries inside 50 today were just purely from pick-up errors that allowed us to have the outnumber. It's really one-dimensional and it's really poor. And it breaks my heart because I genuinely do the female game because I enjoy it. Like I enjoy seeing something grow before my very eyes. And it just seems to me a disservice, a real disservice. And my heart bleeds for these girls because I don't ever praise you for trying. I don't, because I think you start getting into that mindset, you're watering down humanity. You really are. I can't tell you how strongly I believe that. You start rewarding adults for effort and praising it. You are watering down humanity in a way that you can't redeem it, really. It's going to be shit forever. But they're so much better. I just feel like they need it. And whether that's a Goddard, whether that's a Searle, I don't know. But I do feel that they need a massive change. A massive change. And fuck, I'll do it. Johnny, I'm sure Cade would do it to the end of the year. Fuck, I'll do it for free. I mean, pay me on wins. Like, because it's really, from a structural point of view, the changes can be implemented very quickly. Very quickly. Rushing to each other, getting a distinct pattern to your ball movement for starters. And this is what I used to criticise Teague. Is it a short kicking game? Is it a long kicking game? Is it a handball game? It's so higgledy-piggledy. It's like, oh, this will do, this will do. It doesn't seem preordained, and especially when you're playing a side like Adelaide, who have played their way for a long time. So it's not a surprise of what you're going to face. You know what you're going to face. And when Ellen Phillips is having a bit of a quiet day in front of goal and you struggle, it's a worry for me. Because that could have been a lot more. Like that scoreline, if anything, flattens us. Flattens us. And I double scores in the female game. So that's 102 to 24, straight off the bat. Would we be sat here saying, oh, Cripps tried? For me, it needs some impetus. These girls look lost. They look like they're lacking leadership. And not on the field, lacking leadership somewhere else. And I look at the media posts. And this is where I say the expectation that the girls don't take it serious is caused by the club. You know, like, you lose last week, and the message is Darcy, they kick a goal in the Pride Guernsey. This week, it's probably going to be Georgia G, kicks a goal in the Respects Guernsey. It's not how football clubs talk. It's not how sports clubs talk. You don't find, like, there seems to be a real thing in 2022 that you can't demand standards without being mean. I expect standards from my kids. I'm not mean. I expect standards of everyone I meet, and I don't think I'm a mean person. I'll give you honest feedback because I think the most pride thing that anyone can do in my life is criticize me because that means I'm a step closer to perfection. Do you know what I mean? If there's something wrong with me or something I'm not doing quite right, I never see that as a bad thing. I see that as a good thing. It means I'm human for a start. And 2, it means that I've got something to work on. Fantastic. And 3, you've got faith in me to say you think I can do better. They're huge honours. Like, it's mind-blowing. And for me, it needs to be totally stripped back. I want to see a review in this football department. I'd like to see a general manager be a general manager of the men and the women, for a start. Both. It's a football department, is it not? Is the NGA part of the football department? Better fucking be. Sure should the AFLW. Because I've got loads of questions. Why is the AFLW not got better? Why is the NGA not got better? Why have we got one person to show from the NGA after X amount of years of recruiting? We've put a lot of money into this. Why are we losing key personnel and not replacing them? What is the structure? What is the game plan? Moody went down today. They'll dine out on that loss, but why do you have one recognised ruckman on your list? In a COVID year, knowing these, all they had to do was get a sniffle and they'll be out for a week. Who thought that out? Do you know what I mean? Who's the brainiac behind that? For me, there is no one at the AFLW department who can keep their job. Because this is poor. This is blimey poor, man. This is, and they can grovel all they want. But if you're there, you're part of the problem. And it needs what the men had, a total clear out. A total clear out. Start again. Because for me, you're watering down the product now. You're watering it down. And should be about football because football gives them the platform to talk about these important issues. But we should never take sight off. And at the moment, it feels like it's okay, we didn't win today, but we got a message out. Wrong. The message should come with the sport. That's what it does. I'm all for social messaging, all for it. And I've proved that in my work, I think. But football should take the first and foremost because that gives you the platform. And it worries me. It worries me. It worries me as well that when you hear about the dignitaries and the people in the higher up and how they're whining and dining themselves at the football. Like, this isn't a social enterprise. It's a sport. Say it at work. The priority here is to make money, first and foremost, right? And if that is our goal is to make it an enjoyable process, but we never lose sight that we must make profit to stay in work. And that has to be the primary focus. Between anything else, winning has to be the primary focus. And what we do around that is up to us, but we have to be winning first. Everything else is inconsequential. As long as we're making profit to the bosses, everything stays normal. And that needs to be the focus, because at the moment, there isn't enough effort. There isn't the correct things in place. And it is heartbreaking to watch, and I'll keep watching it because I'm a sucker. But these girls deserve better. They deserve a hell of a lot better. The football club deserves better than what's pointing out. And unfortunately, stop employing nice people. Do you know what I mean? Results first. You know what I mean? Like, it's simple. This isn't a fun club. It's a sports club. Sports clubs are built to win. Nothing else. Do you know what I mean? There's a social club down Werribee Way where I am, where they have a kick-to-kick, all ages mixes. If people want to do that, fuck off down there and I'll praise you. You know, you turned up on a Sunday afternoon, well done. You know what I mean? The minute you get paid for something, praise for trying goes out the window from when you're about 2. And you don't want people around anything to win things or be successful who need praise all the time for doing basics. You praise people for results and things they do right. You don't praise them for trying. Trying is a non-negotiable. And the minute we get around that and we change the messaging and we start having real conversations in the AFLW is when it'll fly. When it'll fly. I remember Manchester United refused to have a women's team because they wanted to protect their brand and put enough research in. They ploughed research in. United's women are going really well now. They joined the 4. That is how a strong club works. It's how a strong club works. Because they need to protect our brand. And it's time that we judge them exactly equal. Equality to me means you're equal to criticism as you are to praise. There's no difference. The gradient stays the same. For me, the girls are a lot better than what they're showing. And I don't blame them. I blame the powers that be. And it's an easy fix. It's an easy fix. But is it a fix they're willing to do? Disappointing. No easy games in this league. Gets a little bit easier next week, but some big games coming up for the girls. Nearly 4 rounds to go. The season is nearly over. They're going to have to work a bit harder. Fremantle are very tough away. They do like going to WA there. I'll see you then anyway. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what your takeouts were. Until next time.